Marcus Vinicius, prefect of Rome's 15th cohort, was in the palace courtyard one day when he heard a series of heavy footsteps approaching him. He looked up and saw his Emperor Nero, striding toward him with Messalina at his side. The two were laughing heartily, nudging each other playfully. Marcus had been an emperor's guard for many years, and had seen the likes of Caligula, Claudius, and even Nero before his psychotic break, but he'd never seen the emperor so happy. When they were close enough, Nero stopped laughing and asked, "Have you heard any rumors while on patrol?" Marcus replied that all was well. "Good," said Nero, "because tonight you are guarding the Palatine Hill, not with your normal detachment, but alone. You will be my personal bodyguard. Messalina and I have business to attend to." With that, Nero put an arm around his wife's shoulder and led her away, leaving Marcus both confused and intimidated. He knew from experience that guarding the Palatine Hill would take 20 men, not one, and if any harm came to his emperor or empress, his head would roll. Later that night, after the entire Palatine Hill was secured, Marcus took up a position near Nero and Messalina's bedroom. Every now and then he'd hear muffled screams and shouts from inside, followed by laughter. He couldn't help but wonder what kind of business the emperor and empress had to attend to. By the time the first rays of sunlight hit the eastern hills, Marcus was exhausted. During the night, he'd only had time to eat a few dry pieces of bread, and his legs ached from standing. Still, he felt better knowing that his emperor was safe. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Nero's door opened and his wife emerged. She was uncharacteristically dressed in simple clothes, her hair down, and she looked absolutely radiant. Without saying a word, she excused herself and walked over to the window. Marcus watched her as she stretched out her arms toward the rising sun. As he did, she turned and caught him staring, and gave him a dazzling smile. Then she began to speak. "You must be tired. Come, sit with me for a moment." Nero Escard sat down next to her and explained how difficult it had been to guard the perimeter alone. Messalina listened patiently until the emperor appeared behind them. "Did you have a good night, my love?" he asked, wrapping an arm around his wife's shoulder. "A splendid one, my dear," she replied, turning to look at Marcus. "And you, good sir, made it possible." She gestured for him to wait a moment while she and Nero talked in hushed voices. They discussed strategy for an upcoming military campaign, and Marcus tried his best to listen, but his mind wandered to how beautiful Messalina was. When he stole another glance at her, he noticed something strange. The usual disdain and hatred he'd seen directed at him by imperial women was absent from her eyes. Instead, he saw warmth and kindness. "My dear, the prefect has been nothing but helpful to us," Nero said, catching his wife staring at the guard. "I am grateful to him." Messalina turned back to her husband, a mischievous grin on her face. "Indeed, but you are forgetting that the prefect is still hungry." Nero laughed and gestured for someone to bring his guard some food. "My apologies, sir," he said, once the servant had brought him a pile of roasted meat and fresh bread. "It's just that you caught us in the middle of a discussion." "No need to apologize, my emperor," Marcus replied, digging into his meal. "I understand." In the coming weeks, Marcus was called to Nero and Messalina's quarters several times. The couple enjoyed his company and often ordered him to join them for meals, drinks, poetry readings, and even chariot races. Marcus felt honored to be included among the nobility, and he never forgot to thank Messalina for her kindness. In turn, she always replied that it was Nero who deserved thanks for choosing such a loyal and handsome man to guard them. "He has eyes only for you, my love," Nero would say to her, winking at Marcus. One evening, while Nero was entertaining a group of poets, Messalina walked up to Marcus and whispered, "My emperor is rather tipsy. I need you to walk him back to his chambers." It was no trouble for Marcus, and he helped Nero get ready for bed. After making sure the emperor was comfortable, Marcus went to leave, but Messalina stopped him. "You are a good and honest man, Marcus," she said. "I know, and I will reward your loyalty. Come visit me in my chambers tonight. We'll have a little fun." Marcus was shocked. He could barely believe his ears. Was Messalina really asking him to sleep with her, his emperor's wife? For a moment, he considered refusing, but the thought of having the most beautiful woman in Rome for a night was too tempting. He agreed, and that evening he went to her chamber. Marcus had never seen Messalina without makeup and fine clothing. He stood in the doorway for a moment, simply taking it all in. She was lying on a silk couch, wearing nothing but a thin nightgown. "Do you like what you see, Marcus?" she purred. "Very much." My Lady Messalina beckoned for him to come closer. He walked over and sat down next to her. "You don't seem very surprised," she said with a smile. "I received quite a few offers like this from courtiers and senators," he replied, "but none could compare to yours, my lady." To be honest, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your kindness to me these past weeks. So you weren't going to accept my offer? If you hadn't asked, I might have gone to one of the others. Messalina leaned back and closed her eyes. Oh, I think I'll enjoy being your first, she whispered. After they spent the night together, Marcus felt a sense of accomplishment unlike anything he'd ever experienced. Not only had he slept with the most beautiful woman in Rome, he'd done so with the most influential. How could he ever top this? At least that was the question he was asking himself when he arrived at the palace the following morning. Messalina was already waiting for him outside Nero's bedroom. When she saw him, a wide smile broke across her face. "You look refreshed," she said. "You look beautiful," he replied. Messalina laughed and placed a hand on his arm. "My emperor will want to see you today. He has an announcement to make." Marcus had no idea what was happening until he saw the assembled senators and courtiers. Nero sat on a golden throne, and beside him was At the sight of Marcus, the emperor raised his hand for silence and addressed the crowd. "I want you all to meet my wife's choice for prefect of Rome. I trust he will do an excellent job." The crowd erupted into applause, and Messalina beamed at Marcus. Nero continued, "From now on, he will be the one to guard me and my family. So show him the respect and obedience he deserves." There was no way Marcus could refuse this order. He bowed before the emperor and promised to serve him to the best of his ability. Afterward, Nero and Messalina walked over to where he was standing and congratulated him personally. "I knew you would rise above the others," Messalina whispered in his ear. "You are destined for great things, Marcus." Many months passed. Marcus was now the most powerful man in Rome. He patrolled the city with pride, confident in the knowledge that his actions directly affected the lives of every Roman citizen. He was respected by the elite and commoners alike, and he had Messalina to thank for it. Whenever he saw her, he greeted her warmly. She was always glad to see him too, and never failed to mention how proud she was of him. One afternoon, while walking through the forum, Marcus heard people talking about the emperor and his wife. He walked over to listen, and heard one man say, "They say, Messalina is looking for a new lover." Another replied, "Who could blame her? After all, she is the most beautiful woman in Rome." A third chimed in, "She is throwing lavish parties and inviting every young man of noble birth." Marcus dismissed their words as idle gossip. Still, he couldn't help but worry about what would happen if Messalina found someone else to replace him. That evening, he went straight to her chambers after his shift. When he knocked on the door, Boris opened it. She was even more beautiful than he remembered. "My lady," he said. "Come in," Marcus. Messalina replied. "I want to talk to you." Marcus entered the room and walked up to her. He asked, "Why are you here?" "I heard some rumors during my patrol. People say you're looking for a new lover. Is that what you've heard?" Messalina asked. "Yes."
"Oh, that's true."
Before Marcus could respond, she continued, "I am bored with you." "What?" Marcus felt his face burning with shame. "You heard me, Marcus," Messalina said. "You are a good man, but you can't give me what I want." She paused for a moment. "Nero doesn't understand me. He tries to control me and tell me what to do. I'm tired of it." "But surely you could talk to him about it," Marcus suggested. "He loves you very much. He thinks I'm too beautiful for my own good, and he's afraid I'll leave him if he lets me do as I please." "But you won't leave him, will you?" Marcus asked. "Perhaps not," she replied. "But that's not the point. I want freedom, Marcus. I want to live life on my own terms, and I need someone who can give me what I desire." Marcus felt sick to his stomach when he heard the name. He knew Tigorinus was a notorious womanizer and a known abuser of his power. "You don't mean it," Marcus said, hoping that his voice didn't betray his emotions. "I do," Messalina replied. "Tigorinus will be here soon. He is returning from the provinces, and I intend to receive him in style. And what will happen to me? You will remain my personal bodyguard, Marcus. I'm sure Tigorinus will appreciate your help in welcoming me." Marcus nodded slowly. He felt betrayed and heartbroken, but what could he do? He loved Messalina, and would do anything for her, even if it meant losing her. At that moment, he swore to himself that he would never let Tigorinus hurt her. He would watch over her always, even if it meant staying in the shadows. And so he did. For years, Marcus remained by Messalina's side, watching over her and protecting her from harm. He never forgot the love they shared, and the happiness she brought into his life. And even though their paths eventually diverged, he always cherished the memory of the Empress who outsexed Rome.